here on Picnic Island.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little bit different. It's another Tech Tuesday, and it is actually Tuesday today, so let's get it started. I haven't been sailing on my jet skis, which are located right here behind me, and they haven't been sailing for at least a year now, a little bit more than a year. So we're going to try to go ahead and wake them up, and I know there's a battery that's actually lacking at the moment, but there's also a lot of other stuff that comes up with oil changes and so forth. Never go onto the water unless you have a new oil filter and so forth, because these things do rust and so forth. So let's see what happens when we take the covers off, and let's start from the beginning with a cup of coffee. Welcome back, and if you don't mind, please like and subscribe, and I'll come back with another video as soon as I can. But we'll start with two Yamahas. It's Yamaha VX 1100 or 110 deluxe, so it's without turbo this time, and it's just a plain engine. It's the same engine that's actually in the Yamaha R1 racing bikes as well. So if you cannot find some of the spare parts, that might be an easy way for you to go ahead and find the spare parts for these jet skis. Anyway, stay tuned, and let's get started. Just came out of the auto parts store and on the way back home. We did a check on the batteries, or the battery they have in there. It looked quite good actually, and it also had a lot of amps on it. However, I didn't like the idea that it was a little bit down on the voltage side, even though it's showing 12.4. I'm not sure if I want to go underwater with this thing, so I actually like to go ahead and buy two new ones. Oil wise, it is recommended to use the 1040 according to the manual. However, in this case we're in Florida, kind of hot weather environment, and therefore I'm going to go ahead and change. I'm going to go up and use my my V-twin motorcycle oil, so I'm going to go 20 W50. So I'm putting in this battery here. It's a die-hard power head, it says here, but it's an AGM battery for power sports and so forth. This has 260 crank amps, cold crank amps, and it's basically, let's see here, the socket that it sits in, or the seat that it sits in. There you go. So it's kept away from the hull of the jet ski. Very tight places like this one is. Make sure that you take your rings, bracelets, whatever's metal, including your watch, off, because otherwise it might actually melt you at some point. You might get in trouble with that, and it will get hot if it short circuits. So just make sure you take that off. So here's the battery located, as you can see, right over there, and now we're going to put the poles in. So make sure you do that, and actually a good idea to put on as well some silicone. That way your poles are not going to go ahead and be corroded, or won't be corroded after maybe a few days or months of use. At least it'll be working, and you'll have good contact for the rest of the time that you're going to use this battery. So let's get it connected.
You do? You know the song? On the street where you live, girls talk about the social life.
Well, we're back on the jet skis and trying to get their thing sorted out. As it is right now, the jet ski over here has gotten the battery installed and everything else sorted out, and I checked everything on the engine, and it started right up. It fired up immediately as it was done, and so in this case here, I'm kind of done with this jet ski. I just need to go ahead and take the oil out and all that stuff now. Now in order to do that, we have to go ahead and run the jet ski for about 3 minutes. Have to sit it for like 5 before we can check how much is in, and then it's going to pump all the oil that's been gone down to the bottom of the engine up in the sump up here, and then we can actually suck it out with a pump from the top here instead. So that's what the next issue is going to be with this one here. So I guess another few hours that's going to be fine, and then it'll be ready to go ahead and go running. On the other side here, all the way down the bottom, down on this side, that's where you'll find the oil filter, and that can be a little bit more tricky to take off, so we'll have to do that as well. Now I started working on the other one over here, and as you can see, I already did install the battery. Battery is completely in place. I just disconnected the poles because I had another issue with this, and that was it had a clicking issue. Whenever I wanted to go ahead and start the jet ski here in the starter, it went click click, and you can hear that it's trying to engage the starter, but it does not engage 100%. The clicking sound that comes up with it, you can hear it'll try to turn the engine, but it won't go ahead and give it enough juice to run. It's the starter relay that's probably has gone bad over the years, and I had to go ahead and buy another one. They're kind of expensive though, but I bought the original. That's the reason. You can probably find it on Amazon as well for cheaper than this was. I paid about 135 bucks for this one here, and it is going into this little box that you have here. Actually, if you tap the starter button, you can feel that the relay sit on the other side. So there are two screws that needs to be. Let's see if I can get you closer here. There are two screws down here, or a bolt that needs to come off there. It's 12 millimeters, and there's another 12 over there sitting in there, and once they're off you can take the whole module out, and then you can just open it on the other side, and then this little relay goes in. I'll show you that in a second as well. So let's get started with that part. So here's the new starter relay installed. Everything is fine as it looks right now. As you can see, I just tested it. That's why I have 2 marks on there. And the starter runs as is right now. So now it's just a matter of getting the security lock off, and let's try it out. I just dropped it into the water, as you can see right here. So you got a little bit of cooling. Make sure you have cooling on the jet ski before you try it out. And once you're ready, let's go ahead and try it. Make sure there's nothing laying in the whole engine compartment of tools or whatever. So just run over an inventory check before you go, and then just see if it actually does run. Let's see how it goes. Let's hit the button. So it's just testing both skis. They're now coming up, and we're getting ready for an oil change. They're working absolutely perfect right now. Starts up, fires up right away, and I'll show you a demonstration here in a second. So it does work to go ahead and keep the maintenance up. It takes a little bit of workout though, and also a little of TLC. But anyway, now they're ready. Here I've just been running both of them for about 6 minutes approximately. That's what the manual says as well, just to get the viscosity of the oil down so it runs a bit more like water. And then you also have all the oil over in the reservoir in the oil tank, which is this one here, and that's also on the other side. Now we got to go ahead and find the oil filter. The oil filter is down on this side, left side of the engine, all the way down below the charger, and also the multi-plug that's in there as well. So a little bit hard to get out of. What do we need of tools to do this? Well, what I have done, I would like to get a pump, so I'm going to pump it out with this one. Very simple little pump. You just go ahead and put that in, and it makes no dirt as well, and it doesn't get that dirty on whenever you try to get it over. So it's very, very easy. And then I've actually like to take one of these filter removal tools, which is a multi-tool that actually fits all filters. You just go ahead and put it on, and then you put your wrench in here afterwards, and once you've done that, it actually works pretty well. The filter itself, I'm using a KN filter. There's a lot of, I guess, opinions about what is the right thing or not, but anyway, this is the KN303, and they don't cost much, but they work pretty well. And then I'm always hand tightening it afterwards. So let's get started and see if we can get this thing changed right away. I'm here in Florida, and it's really warm, so what I'm putting in, I'm putting this full synthetic 4-cycle motorcycle oil in. It's a 20W50, and I know it's a little bit thick, but here the water is warm and everything else, so it doesn't get the cooling that it's supposed to have, so it doesn't really matter much. But the real one should have been a 10, I think it's 1040 or something they actually recommended from the manual. The amount you need is 2.3 quarts if you're changing the oil filter as well. It's only 2 quarts if you're only changing the oil. Now it's 2 liters for in the metric system. It's 2 liters with no oil filter and 2.2 liters with oil filter as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and start out with the 2, and I have an extra one. I'm going to go ahead and take 0.2 as well and put that on top of it, and then it should be fine. If you overfill it, you're risking that it's going to burn out, run through the air filter, and you're going to destroy your air filter, and also go ahead and you're going to go ahead and have an engine's performance problem later on. So it's actually better to make sure you have a little bit right in between, and then go ahead and refill it slightly a little bit afterwards. So I'm going to put in 2.2 now. Then I'm going to go for a ride, more than 6 minutes, so it goes all the way around the engine. And then after that, I'm going to have a look at the dipstick, and if the dipstick is actually quite okay, it's fine. If it's within the 2 lines which are on there, then I'm quite happy. So let's get started. Here you can see my setup. So right now, we are pumping it out like this, quite kind of easy. And you could put a compressor on it too, but I'm not. can hear it when it's getting empty. There you go. See the small bubbles coming up, and that's the end of this part. Let's go ahead and continue. The good part about actually taking out with a suction pump like this is that you can actually also see here, it's kind of hard now, but you can see how many liters you got out. And I got a little bit more than 2 liters here, or close to 2 liters. And that way you know you got exactly more or less everything out before you take the oil filter out, because the oil filter is down the bottom and it will give you a little bit of mess inside the engine compartment, and you want to have all the oil out and clean before you start and run the engine. So what I've taken for that is I've actually taken a few cloths, put it underneath the engine, and now we're ready to go ahead and remove the filter. When you remove the old oil filter, this is the new one, you want to put a little bit of oil on that rubber seal you got there. That way it's easy to remove next time you're going to put it, next time you're going to take it off. So just go ahead and put a little bit of oil on the finger, move around there, and then you're ready to go ahead and reinstall it. Then the last part, oil goes in. You could use a spout to put it through, but I'm just going to see if I can do it like this, and it might give it a little bit of mess, but with a little bit of patience it should be fine. So let's try it. Point 2, perfect. From here on, it's just a matter of going out running it minimum 6 minutes, and then once we come back, then we can actually check the dipstick if everything is as supposed to be. So that's completing basically the servicing with oil change and everything else, waking it alive for this time. For more than a year this thing has been standing, and it's just now drop it into the water, go for a sail, enjoy your jet ski, and go out on the water. Make sure you check all your hoses as well, cooling especially, and some of the hoses they are actually pretty far down the bottom of this hull, which can be hard to see. So sometimes it's better to take a video camera or even your phone, film it, and then you can see if they're actually still up to specifications that are supposed to be before you go in the water. Make sure you wear a life vest, and then go out and enjoy jet ski, and you should be good to go for the next many hours. This is all I have for this time. I hope you enjoyed it, and a little bit of a tutorial video. I hope that you can maybe drop a comment below, and then I'll go ahead and come back with whatever solution it might be, or whatever I'll look at it. This engine is running great. It is an old one now, but still the jet ski is doing exactly what it's supposed to. I use it both for fishing, also for diving, and it goes on the water quite often actually. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you could, please hit the like, subscribe button, and then I'll come back with some other videos later on. So for this time, until then, I have to do like a tree and leave, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
You got a shark!
Got it! I got a fucking shark! You got it! What?
Oh my god, you got a freaking shark!
How about him, huh?
The
He's
baby
not
was
big,
bigger
but
than
he
his
is here.
mouth. Oh.
Easy.